G'day viewers, it's I, NitroSilverNigel with NitroSilverNigel. Whatever you call me, it's all good. It's time for a season 2 thing and we're all here for OCs. Let's do this in the correct way and we must remember the old rule.
Attention, please don't attempt to steal the images of OCs from this video. These images were commissioned and are not your property to copy. These artists had worked hard for this and the OC owner as well. Please respect the content creators behind this video and any others. Also, do not attempt to illegally download the music from the episode. The musicians had worked hard to create such a great tune. If you need help, please contact the email below on screen. Thank you for your time for reading this and watching this video.
It's a golden opportunity to speak today. Okay, let's do this flair with a princess. I think. Princess Rose Thorn. Oh wait, she's a princess of changelings, a non-canon one of that. Oh boy.
Isn't there a song that explains how you feel about that? If so, can we play it?
Maybe, let me find it.
That was fun.
Her hometown, the Chrysalis Hive, other than that, nothing else. Her occupation is a broodmother of the Bride Thorn Hive. Her relationship status is single and never looking for a mate. However, her sovereign nature needs no prince to marry, no king to rule beside her. She just breathes whatever she pleases. It kind of makes her sound like a pansexual like Deadpool from Marvel Comics. Now, on to the history. She's one of Queen Chrysalis' many daughters, and yes, I'm pretty sure she had a few. She was born and not so long after the changeling assault on the Canterlot during a time period where Equestria was still reeling from the shock and terror from these new invaders that could hide among them. Disguise their loved one, that is how they do. The general fear and distress running rampant allowed the less reputable to play the populace like any other pandemic, and thus Lab Extremis was created to deal with this problem. Like all major problems in society, the government stepped in and hid themselves among the populace. A well-hidden organization dedicating their charter in the protection of Equestria and its interests. Sounds like something Chancellor Naysayer would be put in charge of if he wasn't busy with the school policy of all Equestria. It was not created by the Royal Sisters of Equestria, meaning that both Princess Luna and Princess Celestia had no knowledge of it. It was not determined by them, so it was so secretive that not even the government knew about it. It's called the Area 51 policy. Within these secrets, illegal and humane experiment, endangered creatures were carried out. It is here that young Rose was kidnapped and held.
It took you this long to get to this part of the history? How bad can this be?
Pretty bad, since we haven't even made it to the halfway mark of this video. Also, this next part may intrigue the audience due to the old view of changelings before the Reformation. Still, we must report on what may be the darkest story we have told on this series.
You like it when we take breaks on these videos, don't you? Make it easier to dissect the truer meanings behind the creation of these OCs. As well, it gives the audience more time to watch the video without having to take notes on what you're saying.
And that may be true, but let's leave the meta jokes out of this part. It's only sad from here on out. Now, where were we? Oh, here we are.
Alright, continue on this dark tale.
The experiment on her was originally designed to provide information on changing race, like how they work, what threats they pose to ponies. However, as the experiments the scientists conducted on her progressed, the smarter she became. She was learning!
Almost like the Alien does in the Aliens franchise?
Yep, day by day she saw her siblings getting weaker and weaker, dying around her. She came to the realization that it was her royal blood that was saving her. It was keeping her alive.
Much like in nature, royal blood acts like the royal jelly for most bees in their hives. When the larvae eat the royal jelly, it causes their bodies to evolve to that of a queen bee instead of a worker bee. I use the term evolve greatly due to we know that this is only useful for bees and not as much for humans. The same can be applied to changelings, as they don't need a royal jelly, but genes and blood of an active queen to become a future queen. The same logic applies to this ideal.
Thanks for that tidbit, Delta. I couldn't say it any better myself.
Welcome, Nitro.
The drones would die from exhaustion and extended training. It was clear that once she learned how to read and write with some advisement, the organization was not all that it seemed. They were not in fact using her and her siblings to combat a changing threat. The lab was trying to create a new breed of creature they could control and use the biological weapons to stage a coup and rule Equestria. Like any plan, it might be beneficial to come up with a backup plan.
Was that an A-Team reference?
I don't think so. Back to the story. However, due to Chrysalis' pride and rulership that surged through her veins, Rose here knew that she was more than this mere subject Epsilon that had been branded on her. And with mental nudging and a meek gestures here and there, she managed to escape her containment. It was nothing more than a rampage when Rose escaped. She left the lab in a blood-raged terror and disappeared into the night.
That was a bit grimdark.
Hopefully it gets better. Because now we're at the backstory section! Rose had to find a name for herself, as well as a place in society, after escaping from the lab. She said out knew everything her species had done, from the conditioning that she had received from the lab, as well as some often racist treatment from the scientists. This caused him great desire to do nothing but spend society as a normal member. Thus, she attempted to find some lowly job assuming the appearance of a mayor, while using her limited changeling magic. Due to her lack of magic expertise and social experiences, caused her to appear rather dim-witted, which others often took advantage of. As her constant abuse grew, so did a part of her that was chrysalis grew. Part of hatred and hate, a deep hatred for any race has not changed, and a love for those of her own race. Her patience soon broke, and she murdered a master who she had been originally contracted as a maid for. This has ended up landing her to be his personal pet. She moved to the Everfree Forest, finding a cave that she found very comfortable and homely, and there she began her own hive, which now comprised of 3 children, who she treasured above all things. They are self-sustaining, proud, and neutral, less very provoked.
So in conclusion, do not bother her children and you won't get her horn in your chest in a very painful way.
Now onto her personality traits. Rose is so quiet and meek that to hear her talk is rarity itself, and to hear her raise her voice even rather than emeralds in Minecraft. In extreme cases of emotion would she ever do such a thing, which often leads other ponies and other creatures to believe that she can be easily manipulated. In her meek mood, she can be very pliable and compliant, a combination of her conditioning and guilt over many past actions. However, if she adores any abuse as a result of some creature's actions, she will quickly ascend to her sovereign mode, which is entirely very powerful to that Queen Chrysalis. She prefers to never use her true changeling form as both safety and humility.
In a way, she likes to be the humble changeling rather than go all out in a fight. She has such a calm personality that is considering a brave thing. For all the pain that she's been through and has caused, it's an amazing resiliency she has.
I couldn't say any better than that. Also, some special traits of Rose here. The experiments conducted on Rose has some drastic effects on her DNA, giving her 2 main advantages and 2 weaknesses to balance them out. It's only fair to have that. As one being able to change her appearance, Rose can rearrange the cells of her body to shapeshift into different creatures entirely. The process costs a lot of physical energy and cannot be done rapidly without a great deal of exhaustion or pain. Despite this, the ability syncs up with her second alteration. Instead of feeding off love, she and her brood feeds off pain, meaning that Rose and her children can feel anything from broken heart to feeling a creature die and clamber on to eat such pain. Like Chrysalis Hive pre-Reformation, learning to feed less in order to decrease one hunger is an important part of their training. I presented her to her oldest, who became a medic in Scotland Cantlot and lives a peaceful life in society, which is good on them. As countermeasure for these attributes, Rose and her hive have a terrible heat regulation system in their bodies, what makes them cold-blooded, and they can be damaged or eventually killed by extreme temperatures. They cannot sweat to cool down, and they generate very little body heat to warm up. As such, both summers and winters are suffering for Rose and her brood, for they often have to huddle up in the winter and lays by cool pools in summer. Finally, due to DNA manipulation, most of Rose's children that she has exhibit a strong magical quirk as well as deficiency in some aspects of life. Rose cannot produce normal offspring, but loves them all the same. Her name, Rose Thorn, and her hive's name come from the innate ability to create an undergrowth of choking briars in combat, in preference to using magic or other weapons. They form the defense of their hives, and her appearance looks a bit prickly like a thorn. Her likes are pillows and sweet things. Her dislikes are private individuals and those ignorant to the mystery changeling in any way, that despite their actions, she still matriarch of changeling and deserve respect. What I was looking at is awesome to see. I wish them the best luck in their endeavors. Now to end the video, and I hope that you, the favorite video, had a good time watching.
Wait, before you end this episode, we should say something to the audience directly.
Okay? Well, what can we say to them now? Like, this is the 4th episode of Season 2. What else can we do besides in the video?
Probably mention where that extra song came from?
Oh yeah! That came from a fellow content creator that I like to really talk about. The song about kineticity come from DeltaMX. Come check that guy out, but his funny source to make your videos. And comment on that NitroSilverNigel sent you to him. Now it's time to end the video. Now DJ, play us out!
The music of this video was provided by Beaky, a famous brony musician in his own right, and the visual talents belong to Acry Weaver, a well-known artist in the community. The second voice actor is me, DeltaMX. Please support them by going to their links in the video description.
I hope you enjoyed the works as I did. Now remember to smile.